Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1, once again, on Semoskiy Winter. This is game 2 between OMGPOP and GauLeiter from the Sunday Night Fights, Season 5 Tournament, Qualifier 3, Round of 16. Make sure to check out CoH2.org on Facebook. I'll put a link in the description, and hit a like there on the page if you enjoyed the tournament. So anyways, let's head into the game. As you saw in the previous game, if you saw it, that is, we said that OMGPOP is very high ranked. I believe he was ranked 2 or 3. And then we had GauLeiter in the ranked 40s. Now, let's just double check that information, considering that they are now playing opposite factions. So, yeah, why not get you the info that you need, right? So OMGPOP is playing this time around as the Soviets, and his Soviet play is ranked actually number 5. And GauLeiter's German play is ranked 48. So both players are apparently on their weaker race, or weaker faction, not race. This isn't StarCraft. But, you know, not bad by any means. They are pretty good players themselves. So we saw OMGPOP win last game, so he just needs to win this one to advance to the next round. GauLeiter needs to win this one to go for the third game and try to eke out a win against OMGPOP. So anyways, in the game we see a small engagement over here on the southern fuel. Pioneers ran into the combat engineers. Combat engineers jumped into the house, and the Pios were forced to move away. Center of the map we have conscripts just capturing territory for OMGPOP, while we have grenadiers in the center for GauLeiter. Tech-wise, GauLeiter went for tier 1 like you would expect, getting himself 3 grenadiers, and the 4th unit is actually going to be an MG42, so not entirely grenadier spam, but, you know, quite a bit of grenadiers anyways. And for OMGPOP, he went for 3 conscripts and is now getting himself a combat engineer squad. No investment in Molotovs or anything just yet. Combat engineers, since it's a second squad, I'm assuming it's probably going to build something. What is it going to build? Maybe tier 1, trying to rush for that T70. It's the only reason I can think of getting it that early, although you could go for tier 2 and get some support weapons, but no, tier 1 is coming down. We'll see if OMGPOP gets anything from tier 1, or if he's just using it as, well, a stepping stone for, well, T70s. Up north, we hear a small engagement. We have grenadiers in the fuel taking some shots at the conscripts as they move. Conscripts Ura forward, trying to get on top of that strategic point to deny the grenadiers the ability to cap it. No, they're actually running straight for the house. So they run through the fire, getting themselves in that house, going to be able to win the fight against these grenadiers, but the grenadiers are simply going to ignore them and move along their way. In this situation, that's going to allow the conscripts to just simply jump out of the house, capture the point, and cut off the fuel for GauLeiter. So nice move there by OMGPOP. Center map, we have conscripts on the church, or in the church that is. Grenadiers taking possession of the victory point, backing off a little bit into the heavy cover of that wall, while we have an MG42 set up in the house right outside his cutoff point. Conscripts apparently were trying to go for the cutoff. They notice that there's an MG42 in the house and backpedal and get themselves out of there. Down south, Pioneers still going around trying to capture points. Now down to 2 men, taking quite a beating to the Soviet infantry. They're having to retreat through a conscript squad. Can the conscripts execute the Pios as they retreat? They do have quite a decent amount of health. One of them makes it out of the way and is now masked by the shrubbery here and makes it out alive. So lucky there for GauLeiter to keep his unit on the field. M3 on the field for OMGPOP, so he did not go for the T70, well, he might go for it later on, but he's actually investing in M3s. We haven't seen M3s being used for a while, but they were very strong and are still very strong, just not as popular as before. This combat engineer squad is getting its flamethrower. There it goes, going to jump into that vehicle and go on a rampage against those grenadiers. Obviously, OMGPOP has to be careful about the Faust. We do have tier 2 going up already for GauLeiter, so he can get himself a scout car if he so desires to try to counter OMGPOP's own scout car, or the M3A1 as you call it. So Grenadiers getting caught by that scout car pursuing. Are the Grens going to try to get a Faust off? I believe they are capable of throwing one right now. And there we go, Faust getting triggered, hits the scout car, does about half damage, and the Grens end up retreating in the face of the flamethrower. They don't want to risk it. So the combat engineers are probably just going to jump out of the car, fix it up, and then head back onto the field to engage. So, even though he didn't really get much kills, a little bit of a victory there for OMGPOP. He did force that Gren squad out of the field. Up north, the conscripts jumped out of the point, apparently trying to capture this strategic point, but they were intercepted by the Grenadiers and forced to jump back into the house. Mortar now on the field for GauLeiter, so he's trying to Not sure what he's trying to do. One could assume he's trying to dislodge things, but, well, while the conscripts are in the house, they're not going to stay in the house long. After taking one shot, they're probably just going to jump out and move around. Scout car in the center, second scout car on the field for OMGPOP. He does have a second combat engineer, which he could use to get flamethrowers. He doesn't have enough for flamethrowers just yet, so he's just going to put those guys inside and use them for additional volume of fire. Right-hand side, victory point, Grenadiers and conscripts engaging out in the open. The conscripts are a little bit in the lead there because these grants are already damaged at about half health with the full-man squad, and they are moving past them, allowing the conscripts to get some free shots in. Up in the north, scout car on the field for GauLeiter, getting upgraded with the autocannon. Down goes the Soviet scout car. The combat engineers jump out of the car and are now retreating, having to retreat through the line of sights of the scout car and the grenadiers. The grenadiers are in the house, being able to take some shots as they can, and the scout car can pursue the combat engineers. There is a conscript squad capable of intercepting, but so OMGPOP have anti-tank nades. He does, actually, so very nice there. But GauLeiter decides not to pursue the combat engineers and try to pick up a easy kill there. He lets them live this time. Center map, combat engineers getting pursued by grenadiers. The grenadiers trying to get in range for a Faust. The combat engineers in this scout car are getting upgraded with a flamethrower. There goes the upgrade, kicks in, so he still has one available for him. And Panzer Grenadiers are getting produced for GauLeiter. So this is very how would you say it? We've seen this matchup before, right? It's a little reminiscent of the older days of retail, pretty much, where scout cars were king, and you would see, you know, this same setup where the German player would be forced to get his own scout cars with autocannons to try to counter. Only difference back there is that the scout car didn't retain its coaxial machine gun, meaning that it sacrificed its anti-infantry capabilities to be able to deal with the scout car. But this time around, the German scout car, well, it still keeps that gun right next to it. It's now actually a gun, and it does damage instead of just for show. And you can still kill infantry with it, so you don't really lose anything by getting that upgrade. You lose munitions, but you know, you were expecting to lose those. Scout car driving through the ice, getting a little bit, doing some little, well, maneuvers there. But it looks like it's going down south to try to intercept those Pios. The Pios notice that the scout car is on top of them and are retreating instantly. Can they make it out alive? They're going to run through the ice, allowing them to stave off the damage a little bit. They run through a conscript squad, second conscript squad moving in. The scout car turns around and is now going to pursue. Down to 3 men on the retreat. Can he keep it alive? We see a mortar shot landing nearby. It looks like it did some damage to the conscripts, but OMGPOP decides to leave those Pios alone and lets them come back onto the field later on. Second scout car, or well, third one at this point, but the second one still on the field. Going over to the right-hand side to join his partner there. Doctrine selected for OMGPOP, and that is the guard mortar coordination tactics, and he gets himself a guards rifle. We'll see if he pops that into a scout car as well, known popularly as the Marcus car. And the grenadiers over on the right-hand side are forced away by the scout car. So, scout car is pretty much in a dominant position, taking quite a bit of damage to the German scout car, but the German scout car is being kept at bay by the conscripts. Conscripts' threat of an 18-8 is way too great for the scout car itself. Guard rifle on the field are heading over to the north. And they are getting their DP light machine gun, so that's going to give them a lot of firepower. And, well, those DPs, those PTRSs, well, they just do so much damage to the scout car. Pack gun getting produced for GauLeiter, and no additional tech so far for OMGPOP. Usually what you saw from this strategy before is going to tier 4 straight, so tier 1 to tier 4, and get yourself some Su-85s to be able to deal with whatever German armor comes onto the field. Still a little bit ways away with the fuel, but, you know, it is probably what we're going to see. I would assume. I mean, obviously, I don't know. So the German mortar has been shooting a lot, but hasn't really done much. Has killed 3 infantry so far. A little bit of an annoyance more than a threat. Taking some shots at the conscripts over on the right-hand side. Conscripts set up in the heavy cover of this wall. Managed to force away that Grand Squad, but a nice shot there by the mortar lands right on the wall, killing one of those conscripts and forcing them to back off a little bit. Both scout cars now heading straight into the center of the map. Gonna try to flush out any German infantry they find. There's only an MG42 set up in this house. A little bit of a passive MG42 there for GauLeiter. He hasn't been aggressive with it. He's actually only stuck it there and kept it there. He wants to be able to control his cutoff point, which doesn't really give him much right now aside from this strategic point in the center. Because, well, the southern fuel, the right-hand side munitions are currently in the possession of OMGPOP. So that MG42 could be put to better use, in my opinion, but, well, he wants to have that safety position, I suppose. Northern side getting flooded by Soviet infantry. We have two squads. That is a Panzer Grenadier squad with Shreks, so this is quite a bit of an ambush squad. And a Pio squad over here on this side. These scout cars are backing off and trying to get out of range. Panzer Grenadiers set up and throw two Shreks off on that scout car, killing it instantly. But luckily, the Combat Engineer squad inside does not take any losses and just jumps out and does damage to the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers are forced to backpedal, getting some cover by their Pio friends. But, well, against a conscript squad and a Combat Engineer with flamethrower itself, well, those Pios are not going to be able to really stop much. Center map, conscripts just, you know, hanging around, standing in the middle of it anywhere. And conscripts on the right-hand side. Down to 2 men, trying to cap that point. There is a Grand Squad moving to their position, and it will force them off before they capture the point. Question is, are they going to live? They have to run straight through the Grens, taking some damage, but the Grens were more interested in moving to the point. They take some shots at the conscripts as they move away, but with nothing else to follow up, the conscript squad will make it out alive. The medics are back at the base for OMGPOP, so he should be able to get his squads up to full health. Second Panzer Grenadier squad on the field for GauLeiter. It is heading... Where's it heading anyways? Oh, barely hitting the field right now. PTRS is opening up on the Scout Car. Scout Car gains Veterancy 2. Veterancy 2 says advanced vehicle training improves vehicle sighting and weapon accuracy. So it looks like it improves the sight range and, well, the accuracy of the gun. We can get those stats in a little bit. I won't harp on it too much, but yeah, I'll get that to you. So, anyways, engagement here in the front of GauLeiter's base. We see a Molotov landing in the house, forcing that MG42 to die. Actually, I thought it actually packed up and left, but no, it is dead. So we're probably gonna see some corpses around here. No, I actually don't see any corpses, but. Well, the MG42 is nowhere to be seen, so GauLeiter has lost his foothold into the center of the map. We see conscripts, guards pushing forward and capturing territory. The German scout car did stay alive. It's down to about 30% health, so can't really go harassing and trying to hunt down those Soviet scout cars. Still one scout car left from the 3 that were produced, and it is, well, being quite harassive. Shreks on the field, however, with those Panzer Grenadiers, needs to be careful. Backs off. Nasty shot there from the mortar of GauLeiter, actually killing his own infantry. The mortar has 2 friendly kills on those Panzer Grenadiers, so that's quite unfortunate. Guards push forward, getting the range of the machine gun bunker. Probably trying to get in range to, what I'm trying to say, to throw a nade at the pack gun, but the pack gun was quick enough to pull away and get out of range, apparently. Guards do manage to crawl out of the sight range of the bunker and just back off, so they will stay on the field. Very nice. Right-hand side, Grenadiers just capturing territory, and Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks as well, just around behind enemy lines. Scout car, Veterancy 2, fully repaired now, pushing away those conscripts, but GauLeiter is in a very tough spot. We do see Tier 4 went down for OMGPOP like we expected, and an Su-85 getting produced out of it, because that is, well, what you do. He could risk, you know, and get something else like an Su-76 just to support more, because the Su-85 does not have really much of an anti-infantry capability. Can snipe every once in a while, but it's more random, more luck-based. But, you know, you want your Su-85 most of the time as your first unit, because it's that safety net in case any German tanks were coming out a little bit quicker than you expected. Southern side, Panzer Grenadiers and Grens pushing onto the southern fuel. Conscripts there to intercept them with the scout car there for support, but with the presence of the Panzer Shreks, the scout car backs off and decides to not engage. Center map, Panzer Grenadiers going for the victory point. Conscripts getting mauled by the Panzer Grenadiers. Gonna be forced to retreat. They do retreat through the Panzer Grenadiers, down to 3 men, probably down to 2 before they make it out of there. No, barely make it out alive with still 3. Very nice. And the combat engineers take residence in this house in front, getting bombarded by the mortar, but taking refuge because they don't want to get killed by the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers forced to retreat in the face of the scout car and the flamethrower, because those are the Panzer Grenadiers with no Shreks. And the German scout car pushes forward, skidding through the ice, losing a little bit of control, but there he goes. He is turning around, doing some donuts. And it's now right in the face of the Soviet scout car. Soviet scout car trying to back off, and it is going to end up dying. Combat engineers jump out of the car because they notice it was impending doom, and down goes the Soviet scout car. Another Soviet scout car on the field, so interesting. OMGPOP decides to produce another one after getting his Su-85 with the additional fuel that he has acquired. Su-85 pushes forward through the ice, trying to snipe the German scout car. The German scout car skidding through the ice, backing off, takes some shots at the combat engineers, not combat engineers, the guard rifles that were fighting against those Pios. And the Shreks are now moving onto the ice to try to intercept that Su-85. So while we wait on this little lull, I was going to say that the scout car for the Germans, the armored car, gets 30% sight range and 30% accuracy with their veteran CC. So little things to know. Panzer Grenadiers pushing onto the field with those Shreks, trying to get that not victory point, that's the strategic point. And, well, speaking about victory point, OMGPOP is currently at 466, while GauLeiter is at 423 in the losing end, but, well, he's currently triple capped, so he needs to get one of those points at least to slow down that bleed, otherwise it's going to take its toll very quickly. Combat engineers running to the brand new Soviet scout car to be able to harass infantry around there. And center map is, well, pretty much vacated from Soviet forces. Sorry. Right hand side, ooh, very nice. A demolition charge getting laid down there. On the victory points, we see the not the guards, the Grens pushing forward, but the conscripts are a little bit too fearsome, and they decide to back off. Guards rifle pushing forward, trying to get in range of, well, I don't know what exactly they were trying to get in range of, but they are now getting run over by the Panzer IV and shot at the same time, and down goes the entire guards squad for OMGPOP. So nice pickup there for GauLeiter. Still has that Su-85 to deal with, so it isn't, you know, a win, but at least he has gotten rid of the guards, which means that OMGPOP will need to replace them if he wants to have guards. Now, he does have 730 manpower, which means that he can, if he wants to, call them in. He's still a little bit ways away from the T-3485 call-in. You know, he needs the fuel, so he can use the manpower, even though he needs 600, you know, 680. Another demolition charge getting laid down on the northern fuel. We have, wow, demolition charges all over the place. OMGPOP is going a little bit, well, crazy with those. Conscripts over on the right-hand side end up getting cleared out by the Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer Grenadiers are going south, and they are going to avoid that demolition charge. The Grenadiers, very low in health, capturing the munitions point first, which is interesting considering he's currently triple capped. Would probably been better to go for the victory point first, stop that bleed, get it down to 1 tick per second, and not per second, I mean 1 point per tick, and then go for the munitions. But well, to each his own, I suppose. He wants to connect that and get more resources. So new German scout car. Looks like he lost his upgraded scout car at some point. I didn't actually check it between all the fighting that was going down. It's up here, so I'm assuming the Su-85 moved in and was able to snipe it out. Or the guards rifles that were around here, they moved up, killed it off, and then got crushed by the Panzer IV. So new German scout car on the field. Hasn't gotten upgraded with the autocannon, which is okay considering the munitions. He doesn't really have a lot of munitions, but it's not a bad idea because, as ridiculous as it sounds, the autocannon does some decent damage to the Su-85 if it hits it on the rear. So considering the speed, it could circle strafe this Su-85 if caught in a very bad position and either, you know, deal some additional damage or even potentially kill it off if it's not supported at all. Panzer Grenadiers up in the north, forcing away Vet 2 Conscript Squad. Veterancy 2 for Conscripts gives them no defensive bonus anymore after the patch. All it does is gives them a 40% accuracy bonus and a 25% increased range on the Molotov. That is it. Mortar in the front of GauLeiter's base got cleared off. Needs to get picked up again. And the pack gun is currently in the ice, just taking shots at the house, trying to do some damage to the squads inside and potentially collapse the structure. New guard squad called in for OMGPOP, taking residence in that house, defending the approach, and well, shooting with their PTRS as much as they can. So up to this point, oh, this one could detonate it. Click, click.
This territory is ours.
Oh, this is a little bit of a missed opportunity there for OMGPOP. Is he gonna detonate it? I wish he would, but I don't think he's gonna do that because he doesn't have any sight range anymore. We'll keep an eye on that Panzer Grenadier squad, see if it actually dies. But it doesn't look to me like it's gonna die. He was focused in the center in the fight, so I mean, no shame in that. But yeah, the Panzer Grenadiers are now moving along their way, so that demolition charge did not get triggered. Mortar gets picked up by GauLeiter, backed off a little bit, and we'll start bombarding the house, trying to flush out those guards' rifles. Flamethrower engineers just move into the center, burning those Panzer Grenadiers, forcing them to back off. Panzer Grenadiers at Veterancy 2, they do actually get defensive bonuses, unlike conscripts or grenadiers. At Veterancy 2, Panzer Grenadiers get 40% armor and a 25% cooldown reduction, meaning they essentially, shoot faster, and that works actually great with Panzerschrecks. So, things to keep in mind. Su-85 running into a Pio, the Pio running straight into the tank, and gets executed on the retreat. And the second Su-85 now on the field for OMGPOP, making sure that no tank shenanigans catch him out of place. Panzer Grenadiers getting, oh my god, that was, wow. Su-85 actually has 7 kills with the with infantry. That's ridiculous. This other guy that came in and helped didn't actually kill anything. The 3 guys that died right now to that Panzer Grenadier squad were all this Su-85. If they worked like that all the time, they would be amazing. But that is ridiculous RNG right there. But oh well. Grenadier squad for GauLeiter trying to go south for apparently the strategic point. Rifle lane landing on these conscripts, killing 2 of the men, doing some health damage. Panzer IV pushes forwards, takes some shots at the conscripts, but the conscripts back off and are continuing to shoot at this Gren squad. The Gren squad is retreating through both conscript squads. That's 9 rifles shooting at them. Can they make it out alive? Down to 2 men, down to 1 man. Can he make? No, he doesn't. Oh, unfortunate loss there for GauLeiter. He's now out of Grens. He has Panzer Grenadiers, 2 of them, producing a 3rd one. He has lost other squads like we saw up north. But he's currently triple captain, down to 180 points. So OMGPOP sitting very comfortably in this position. There is a pack gun in the eyes that he has to be careful with. And that Panzer IV and Scout Car can't really do much, considering that the Su-85s are right there, just looking at them. Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward with their Shreks, probably trying to get a shot off at this Su-85, but the Su-85 continues to snipe. Oh my god, these Su-85s are brutal right now. I haven't seen Su-85s do so many kills against infantry before. Certainly not when I play them. So Molotov getting tossed by the conscripts right on top of them pretty much, as the Panzer Grenadiers run into the flames after taking the shot, and they decide to retreat with their Panzerschrecks intact. Very high health for a 2-man squad, so they will be fine. And the the mortar continues to shoot at the conscripts, forcing them to retreat. New Grand Squad getting produced for GauLeiter. OMGPOP going and capturing the north. We do see this Panzer Grenadier squad moving to the north. So if the conscripts can actually get that, well, they'll be fine. And there we go. We finally have enough resources for OMGPOP. He calls in his T-3485. So he now has 4 tanks on the field. These guys a little bit better than the Su-85s at killing infantry. And, well, with that turret, they're able to be, well, more aggressive and more mobile rather than, you know, assault guns like the SU-85s. But, well, this is GG. I mean, OMGPOP could pretty much just waltz in and kill everything. But, you know, it's a little bit of a sloppy maneuver and too careless and haphazard to do so. I don't think he's going to be doing anything like that. He's probably just going to hold the territory and win through the victory points, considering that GauLeiter is down to 100 points. So, oh, Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks push forwards, get barraged by both tanks. We see one kill on each Su-85 as they kill the infantry, and the Panzer Grenadiers continue to get bombarded. Combat Engineers take a bundle nade to the face in the house, but actually doesn't do much, aside from do a little bit of health damage and structure damage. And those tanks are just barraging everything. Look at that damage go down. I mean, well, not damage, but the explosions as the shots land all around the Grenadiers. Not hitting anything, you know, but it's quite impressive to look at. Guards Rifle push forward, capturing the strategic point, getting shot at by the pack gun. The pack gun not managing to do much. Panzer IV pushes forward and takes a shot at the guards, getting shot by the PTRS rifles in return. But with the scout car there for support and a marked vehicle going down on the Panzer IV, the Su-85s and the T-34-85 push forward and tried to... Oh, no, wait, that wasn't a marked vehicle. That was a buttoning going down by the guards rifle. My mistake. It looks the same, but yeah. So he pops the smoke on his Panzer IV and backs off, apparently. Although, how does that work? I think that was a... Huh. Well, maybe it was just getting out of the range of it. Yeah, because that Panzer IV shouldn't have smoke, considering that no doctrine has been selected for GauLeiter. So Su-85 took a little bit of a beating there. Also the T-34. This one took a big beating, actually. So the tanks are getting repaired by both Grenadiers. I mean, not Grenadiers, Combat Engineers. Since OMGPOP got 2 at the beginning, it allows them to get those tanks up and running in a very quick time. Su-85 still taking some shots at the infantry as they approach, getting shot in return by the pack gun. Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks pushing forward, but don't manage to get a volley off on the Su-85. Second Su-85 just in the center of the map. Again, taking some shots at the Panzer Grenadiers as they approach, but aside from, you know, just show, they really can't do a lot. T-34-85 is a little bit better, but not that great. And the Panzer Grenadiers are retreating, taking a shot from the T-34, and it misses, so they make it out alive. Conscripts Vet 2 going for the cap at the right-hand side. And the points continue to tick. Down to 59 for GauLeiter. I don't think he's going to be able to do much. Like I said, OMGPOP, all he needs to do is just hold those points. Su-85 aiming into the center. We'll take some shots at the stuff as they approach. Su-85 now fully repaired. Combat Engineers heading to the victory point to defend the situation. And conscripts and guards back at base, just getting healed up, chilling with the nurses, and they're fine. Panzer IV pushes forward into the center of the map. We see that the GauLeiter is a little bit desperate, sees that this is really his only opportunity, and there goes the marked vehicle down on the Panzer IV. Panzer IV gets marked. Su-85 turns around, exposes its rear armor to the pack gun, but it will be able to get a shot off. Second Su-85 moves in to support and takes a shot at the Panzer IV. No, actually misses. It didn't manage to get a shot off while the Panzer IV tries to get itself out of the way, hits Blitzkrieg, and gets almost behind that Su-85. But he has to do a very wide arc. The other Su-85 is in a very bad angle. Su-85 cuts him off, and down goes the Panzer IV. And that actually went down to the Guards Rifles PTRS. The Panzer IV gets picked up, down to 12 points for GauLeiter. OMGPOP could take possession of his own Panzer IV just to add insult to injury. Down tonight, OMGPOP is going to move to the next round, and this is going to be GG. Panzer Shreks move up. Are they actually going to shoot at the Panzer IV? No, they shoot at the Su-85. 3 points, 1 point. He did manage to decap the center, and that's a nastic, and that is game over. So, very nice game there by OMGPOP. He managed to get himself into the next round quite easily. Unfortunately, GauLeiter, even though he's a good player, well, apparently was no match for OMGPOP. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.